Hi, in this video I want to talk about some Supercoach traps for this year's 2022 Supercoach. Starting off with Mitch Duncan. He has an ownership of 13%. His best season was 100 was in 2017 with 109.8, and his price is 554,000. Now I reckon he's a trap. It's simply because he hasn't been playing a lot lately. He only played 10 matches last year, and he was injured for a large chunk of it. And yeah, he hasn't had a proper pre-season. He didn't play the pre-season matches by the looks of it. I'm not 100% sure with Duncan. I'll wait later on this season to see how he goes. We'll see how he could picking up later on down the line in the second half of the season after the buys. Maybe the best option. I just want to see how he performs at the start of the season before making a decision to pick him. If he's performing great, yeah, might be an option. He's also getting old too. He's in the age 30, which is not really ideal for Supercoach. He's starting past his best. His best was in 2017. I don't think he will average that. He might be able to get at 100, average 100 at best now. We'll soon see with Mitch Duncan, but yeah, starting having him in your starting team is not a good idea. Basically, I don't reckon. Uh, Next one is Taron Thomas with an ownership of 6%. Look, this player, look, I don't reckon he's the worst selection, but there's definitely better players around him, better options that are much cheaper or are slightly more expensive. I mean, you're better off going with Adam Traore, who's got the runs on the board and can average over 100, guaranteed, just about almost, I reckon, can average over 100. With Taron Thomas, I just don't see that. He didn't do it last season, but he did have a good second half of the season and almost did for the second half of the season. But you got Northfield got players that have might come. They're going to come back in like Cunnington, Jed Anderson, and you got Greenwood is in. I personally think he won't score as high as what he did for the second half of last year. So therefore, I don't think he's the best option, and he's a bit expensive too. 459,000. I mean, yeah, there's definitely better options that are either slightly more expensive or slightly cheaper. Next one, Jade Gresham. He has an ownership of 18%. His best season was in 2019 and he averaged 84.1 and only played 19 games that season. And his price sits at 299,000. What I reckon is a trap, simply because I reckon there's better options elsewhere, and I don't think his price is going to increase that much. Look, do I reckon it's the worst option? No, but I think there are better options. You could either go to a Will Brody, even a Charlie Kerner. It's a bit controversial, but he's cheaper though. Or you can go with maybe some rookies, or you can go up to like I said, an Adam True or a bunch of few other players that are there that you could pick. Zach Butters, around 300k is, it's a tough sort of mark with Supercoach, because you can either go right and that can increase to 500k, or they don't really do much and stay around that price, or even get injured and get worse. That's the thing with a lot of these mid-price options. Next trap is James Sicily. Now, this is probably a controversial one. A lot of people have him 33%. Look, he has averaged over 100 quite a few times in 2018, but he only played 14 games. There's a few durability selections, just like Jade Gresham too. He hasn't played that much footy recently, and which is a huge concern. He did play all right in a practice match, but for his price, you want probably trying to at least get 100 at minimum. I mean, he's sitting at 450k, which is pretty expensive, to be honest. There's probably a few players a bit cheaper you can get with George Hewitt, or even a few other pot options, which could potentially increase in value. And they don't have the same injury cloud as what James Sicily has, because he just hasn't really played a full complete season over 100, like playing every single match and getting over 100. He's averaged over 100, but he hasn't played every match that's during that season. So, and that's the thing with James Sicily, and that's why you got Jack Cress, who's a better option than him because he's able to play every game. You got Ridley. Ridley had his own issues last year, but he's played more footy recently. So yeah, Well, yeah, James Sicily. A lot of people are going to disagree with this. I know it's difficult with price around that option, around the 450 mark, but maybe try something different. I know it's a bit of a gamble, particularly the defence line. You don't really want to gamble too much, but sometimes you're going to have to. And I think James Sicily's the right option. Look, he could be a good option halfway through this season if he performs well. And once he gets his game going, plays a few more games, he'll be back to hopefully near his best. And he'll be a good selection. Next one, now this is the biggest trap in my opinion, is Cam Rayner. And an ownership of 23%, and his best average during a season was 2020, and his best score was 125, which was in round 16, 2020. His price at 278,600. Look, this one again, he hasn't got the runs in the board like even James Sicily. At least he's got runs in the board like some of the other players in this list. He just hasn't had a full season getting at least above 90 or even 80. And that's a problem. He's a number one draft pick, so he's got huge potential. He just hasn't had to find the right role for Supercoach and hasn't performed well on a consistent basis. He's performed well in a few games, but he hasn't done it on a consistent basis. That's why I reckon he's a trap. Look, he'll probably will increase in value and probably get his best season if he's fit and firing. I just haven't seen it from him yet. Look, I'll wait for next season for Rayner, to be honest, and see how we go if he has a good season this year. But I just can't believe it. 23% people picking him. You got better options. You got Will Brodie. Got a few other rookies there. Even Curnow, and there's probably a few other players there that are in the mix within the selection. Within Caniglio as well, who's a way better option, which is why his percentage is a lot higher. You got Chirur, you got Chirano. There's a few other options. I know they're more expensive, but I reckon they're better selections than Rayner. And less people have picked them, I think. I'm pretty sure I know Chirur's got less than Rayner. But yeah, that's my thoughts. Share your thoughts. I reckon, I know a lot of people will disagree with some of these selections, but that's just my opinion.